Hello and welcome back to Coding Bay Official, and you are in the Python for Beginners course tutorial. Today we are going to look at Python variables. Now, what do you understand by variables? Variables in general programming concepts are containers for storing data values, okay? Or better still, you could say variables in Python is a name given to a value. Now, you can think of them are similar to those in algebra, but there are slight minor differences that you understand as you program more in Python. Now let's get into creating variables. So we head over to VS Code, and this is where we ended last time. So we are going to create a new Python file, okay? I guess you know how to do that. So let's get that over with. So we just write variables underscore pt1 to signify part 1, okay? Oh, and then guys, we forgot to put a .py. So how are you going to fix this? Oh, don't panic, people. So what you do is you can right click here, you go to rename, okay, and I simply add the .py extension, and voila, it comes, okay? So we have our Python file in good shape. Now, defining variables in Python. Note that Python has no command for declaring a variable. That is how simple this language can be. There is no command for declaring a variable in Python, okay? And a variable is created the moment you first assign a value to it. Okay, here's how we define a variable in Python. You can define a variable name, for example, let's say x, okay? Let's say x, and then you can then type the equal sign, and finally a value, okay? Let's say for example 7. We have successfully defined a variable or created a variable, right? Now let's say another variable, let's say y, or let's say name is going to be equal to, let's give it like a real name, let's say Brian, for example. Let's say the name is Brian. This is another variable, okay? Right. So, and what is Python doing here? Python, so note, is very important. Python is creating this variable that's after the equal sign. What is Python doing? It creates the value that is after the equal sign first. So here Python sees the value 7. In this case, Python sees the value 7, okay, and says, okay, you're going to use the value 7. And then I will create that and store that somewhere. And then it's going to say, and what am I going to refer that value as? Oh, and that's going to be x. So that's the right side of this assignment. The equal sign happens first and the left side happens later, okay? The left side happens later, right? Then note that variables, okay, do not need to be declared with any particular type and can even change type after they have been set, okay? So this x equals to 7 here is an integer, okay? That's a whole number. Now I can change this variable here after. I can simply say x equals to, let's say, another name, let's say John, okay? I can say x equals to John and it's still going to work. So there is no problem here because you don't need to specify or declare any particular data type for Python, okay? You don't need to do that. Now, as well as integers, we have whole number, as which are whole numbers, right? We have other data types like floats, that's decimals. You have complex numbers, you have strings, you have dictionaries, you have lists, you have tuples, and the rest. We are going to see all that as time goes on. So here, let's do a little bit of, let's learn a new concept, okay? That is called casting. Now, what do you understand by casting? Now, if you want to specify the data type of a variable, this can be done by casting. Okay, I want to specify that I want x, okay? I want x to be an integer. How do I do that? Now I do what is called type casting. So I want to specify that x is strictly an integer, okay? So I'm going to say x equals to int, that stands for integer, and I say 3. So I'm going to be like x is an integer, and after that I could do like, let's say a name is equals to, I give it string. Okay, I say string and I say let's say name. Okay, name. Now what if I want to transform this integer x into a string? I will just simply say x equals to, then I stringify 3. Okay, now the 3 here is no longer a number. This 3 here becomes a string. Okay, the 3 there becomes a string. Then how do you get the data type? Now this is a very nice trick here, guys, so pay attention. You can get the data type of a variable with the type function. So this is the type function here. You can get the data type of any variable with the type function. Okay, let's try this, guys. So if I have this our normal variable here, x equals 7, I want to get the type of that variable. So I'll just simply print out using our print statement. I'll print out type, and I'm going to give the variable name x. So we save that by Control S and we run it. What does it tell us? Oh, it tells us that it's an integer. Okay, it says class int, means that x is an integer. Now let's change this and we put here hello. We save this, Control S, and we run. So what does it tell us? It tells us, oh, class string. Okay, look down here, it tells us that the class is a string. Let's try and put something else here, like 9.99, just say, and we run it again. Let's check. Oh, it says class float. Okay, so Python is intelligent enough to say this is a string, this is an integer, and this is a decimal or float. Now let's get to integers and look a little examples with integers. Okay, let's get to a little bit of integers and look at some examples with integers. Now let's define a variable called price. Okay, and we give it a value of 9.99, right? Now what we have done here is that I've created the value 9.99, which is a float value or a value with a floating point. Okay, and then told Python to give that value the name of price. You see how it works? Now let's say we've got a variable called discount. Let's say we have a variable called discount, and the discount here is 0.2. okay, now we can then say that the final result of our price when the discount is applied will be the price multiplied by 1 minus the discount. So we say result, the result is going to be equal to the price multiplied, okay, multiplied by 1 minus discount. Alright guys, I'm doing some mathematical things with Python. Don't bother about it. I'll explain this in the later videos. Just understand this for the sake of this video, for the example. So now, and here's what happens when you execute this. Of course, the following rules of mathematics. Okay, flows of mathematics, that's going to be what goes in the bracket first, right? So 1 minus discount is being calculated first before multiplied with the price. Okay, so when we run this, I don't think you're going to see anything because we are not displaying out anything. So if I want to display out the results, I'm going to be like print out result. Okay, print out result, and I run this. And guys, let's look for the solution. Oh, I haven't saved, so Control S to save. Don't forget to always save your work, and you run, and it gives me 7.9920 blah 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 1. Okay, so this is our result. So guys, in this video I've walked you through understanding the basic variable concepts, okay, how to create a variable very easily, and a little walkthrough through the other simple ones like integers and floating point numbers and the rest. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and please share my videos, and I will see you in the next.